Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to quickly discuss issue, an issue that is kind of popular right now, and understandably so, and I'll talk a little bit here and there about why it is, but I want to talk about several myths concerning the Antichrist. So there's a lot of things swirling around, especially with a particular person who I've been saying for quite a while perfectly aligns with the biblical descriptions of the Antichrist. I'm not the only one. Go see the channel Antichrist 45 for an example. Very, very good channel. But a lot of people are talking more about the Antichrist, and never has there been more false beliefs about him. And the reason I think this has emerged is because, let's be honest, we're talking about Donald Trump, and it's because there's a lot of defenders of Donald Trump, a lot of defenders. Some will follow him to the gates of hell. It doesn't matter what he does or says, they will just go right along with it. And if that's you, I'm sorry, but I hope you wake up. I woke up to him years ago, about around 2020. He bewitched me for a little bit, to a degree. That's back when I thought politics was real. There really was this left versus right, and Democrat, Republican. And I didn't realize the entire thing was a show. Every part of all of this is a show. And I guess I didn't take seriously enough that Scripture calls Satan the God of this age, and he owns it. He owns this world for a temporary period, which means if you want to get to the highest heights in the world, you've got to be basically in league with him. That's really the whole point of the book, Order of the Eye, that I just put out. It describes how all that works. But myths about the Antichrist. Let's start from the top. First one I hear a lot is that the Antichrist, he'll be really young and he'll be good looking and he'll just be so kind of charismatic and enigmatic. And man, everywhere he goes, everyone's just gonna be like, oh, who is this guy? Because I have directly heard many pastors say similar things. That comes more from the Left Behind series. It comes from, I'm just going to say it, the dispensationalist worldview that's complete with Israel as current nation of Israel as God's chosen nation still, and a literal 7 years tribulation and a pre-trib rapture where believers are snatched away and the world goes on, and all of this stuff goes hand in hand. And I usually hear from them that the Antichrist will be charismatic, young, attractive. Everybody will just have this wow factor with him. Not true. When you search the Bible for what it really says in myriad places, Daniel talks about the Antichrist and 7 through 9 and even other sections. Revelation in chapter 13 specifically. You have Second Thessalonians 2. There are different places we piece this stuff together. Nowhere does it say he's going to be young, he's going to be good looking, anything of the sort. So if that's something that's holding you back from seeing a particular person or anybody as potentially being the Antichrist, then it shouldn't, because it doesn't say anywhere he's going to be either of those things, young or good looking. Also, I want to mention quickly, Antichrist, I get it. It doesn't say in the Bible that it doesn't call the man of sin the Antichrist. Just like it doesn't call the triune God or the Godhead the Trinity. But we understand that term, Antichrist, to specifically refer to a main person at the very end who emerges as that man of sin, Daniel's little horn, Revelation's proud mouth. You might call him son of perdition. There are other things. So when I say the Antichrist, that's what I'm referring to. Number two, heard a lot that the Antichrist, he's got to be Jewish. The Antichrist has to be Jewish. For the life of me, I don't know where that comes from. The only thing I can think of is in Second Thessalonians 2, it says that the man of sin or the Antichrist will set himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be a God. So I guess the parallel for some is that he must be Jewish if he's going to set himself up in God's temple. Well, here's something about that. I don't believe that that's referring to a physically rebuilt third temple. That's to begin with. Paul talks about the temple of God in other places, and it never refers to the actual temple that is going to exist post 70 AD when it was destroyed. It is commonly used as the body of believers or the church. So I don't believe that's the temple of God. He's actually saying there'll be a rebuilt temple. Plus, Paul said he'll set himself up in the temple of God. Well, guess what? If there even was a rebuilt temple today, it wouldn't be the temple of God. That was destroyed, like I said, in 70 AD. If it is rebuilt, that's not for God. We don't need sacrifice anymore. Jesus put an end to that. He put an end, frankly, to the need of the temple. So even if it's rebuilt, it's not the temple of God. It'd be the temple of the Antichrist, the temple of Satan, but it wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be of God. So there's nothing that says he's Jewish. Along with the same lines, I'll throw this one in there. You often hear he's got to be Middle Eastern in general. Again, drop comments below and tell me where it says he's got to be Jewish or he's got to be Middle Eastern. It doesn't actually say that anywhere. There are so many things fabricated today, I can't even believe it. But let me tell you what it does say about the emergence of the man of sin. In Daniel and in Revelation, Daniel's fourth beast and of Revelation's beast from the sea, both of which I think historically exist, but they're archetypes. It points, it's that Babylonian Roman Empire beast that's fierce and terrifying and dreadful. But those are archetypes that fulfilled it to a degree, but they point forward toward a final Babylon, a last Babylon, so to speak. That's why in Revelation, he praises, they sing praises because Babylon the Great has fallen. So I've also made the case many places. I think the United States is the last Babylon. I think it's actually very clear that it is. But it says in Daniel and in Revelation, the fourth beast and the sea beast, that the Antichrist will emerge from that empire. He'll emerge from that location. Well, even historically, that would have been Babylon, that would have been Rome. That wouldn't be a Jewish leader. In the United States today, that wouldn't be a Jewish leader. It could be, but it likely wouldn't be. So there's nothing, though, that necessitates the person's Jewish. There's nothing that says he's Middle Eastern. There's nothing that says he comes from that. Instead, he comes from that beastly empire. And people get a little bit confused on this, too. I hear it a lot. They'll refer to the Antichrist as the beast. Not the same thing. Read it carefully. In Daniel, it says that the Antichrist is a little horn. It's a little horn that emerges from that fourth kingdom. In Revelation, it says that the sea beast was given a proud mouth, this boastful mouth that comes up from that beast. So the Antichrist is not the beast. The Antichrist comes from the beast. That is that last Babylonian empire type of figure, type of nation. So we know he comes from that. That actually would probably exclude the possibility that he would be Jewish or Middle Eastern. So he'd be very Gentile. He would be, maybe he claims Christian, maybe he claims something else, but he wouldn't be Jewish or Middle Eastern, certainly not by necessity. Another thing we hear is, well, he'd have to be brilliant. The Antichrist would be so brilliant, such a searing intellect. Oh my God, he doesn't say that anywhere. Says he's a master of intrigue, says he will obtain power by flatteries. It says he'll be boastful and arrogant, but it doesn't say he's going to be brilliant. Some of the people that will say, well, there's no way it could be Donald Trump because he's not brilliant. That's ironic to me because on the one hand, you'll hear this a lot. He plays 4D chess. He's always 10 steps ahead of everybody. He's so far out there. He's brilliant. And then on the other hand, oh, he's too stupid to be the Antichrist. Yeah, Antichrist won't be an idiot. Well, which is it? The truth is, Donald Trump's not an idiot, and he's not brilliant. He's just a guy. Intellectually, he's just a guy. So, uh, that idea is false. It doesn't say anywhere he'll be brilliant. It doesn't say he's going to have some IQ of some certain level. So that is just simply not true. That's another case of waiting for something that's not there. Some people will also say, well, the Antichrist will be a moral man. He will really seem like he's got his act together. He'll seem like a really genuinely good man. It doesn't say that anywhere. It actually says the Antichrist in Daniel will be a vile man, a contemptible man. I already told you, a proud mouth, extremely haughty, very, very arrogant, very full of himself. He will magnify himself above others. He will put others down. He'll be insanely narcissistic. That's not the kind of person you would look at and say, oh, he's a moral man. Now, what might happen is, as I think does and is happening, the Antichrist would put on a mask like any other narcissist, like the devil. It says, what does it say about Satan that I quote all the time? He masquerades as an angel of light. His servants masquerade as servants of righteousness. So the Antichrist may appear to be a good person, but when you inspect his life, he's going to be a horrible person. That sounds awfully familiar. Somebody, I think, makes claims like he loves the Bible more than any other book. Nobody loves the Bible more than him. No one loves Christians like him. He's Presbyterian. He's done a lot of good. He's a miracle worker. He's saved millions of lives. Da, 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 da. Yet, when you inspect, so that's the guys. That's how, for instance, Donald Trump got to where he did as president. Yes, every president is installed by the world powers. Yes, but he has fooled and snookered a huge part of the world, especially in America, but a huge part of Christians across the globe, because he appears, he comes off as a Christian, even though he's clearly not. He's denied his need for forgiveness multiple times. He has said he's not going to heaven. He has claimed in picture form to be Jesus himself and denied it. But the point is, he might look like a narcissist does. He might look good, but you inspect the life at all, and he's actually wretched and corrupt and evil. So the point of it is, the Antichrist is not he's not forecasted to be this very highly moral man. Again, as mentioned, he's talked about as a persecutor of Christians in different areas, but he's a proud and boastful mouth. He magnifies himself. He thinks himself to be above God. That's not a moral man. Along with this is what I hear maybe the most of anything. So really listen to this one. Well, it can't be Donald Trump. And frankly, it can't be this person or that person. It can't be apparently anybody, because the Antichrist will be completely universally loved across the world. Everybody in the world is just going to fall over themselves. They're going to just love him. He's going to be widely accepted by everybody on earth, everywhere. Does it say that anywhere in the Bible? No. No, it doesn't. Doesn't at all. In fact, when you're a vile man, a contemptible man, when you are extremely arrogant, narcissistic, haughty, when you magnify yourself above God, there's probably going to be a lot of people that don't like you. And think about this on a very realistic level. As polarized as our world is, left and right, and all the different social issues and things that go on, the world is so polarized. Would it even be possible for someone to come into the world and basically just be universally loved and adored? The left loves him, the right loves him, everyone in between loves him, Democrats and Republicans, and no matter where you live and what's your worldview, everybody likes him. I would suggest to you that that's not even logically possible. It's just not possible. We see this every election cycle. We always have everywhere across the globe. People are very, figures are very polarizing. People are very, very side driven. So I would argue that the Bible never says he's going to be loved by everybody. Anywhere does it say that. And it certainly isn't logically possible either. The only thing I can think of why people believe this, besides the Left Behind series and different associated teachings, is because Revelation 13 talks about the beast, not the Antichrist, the beast, and says that the whole world marveled after the beast. It says in other passages that, they ask themselves, who can make war with the beast? It's so powerful. So maybe people have said, well, that means the whole world loves and adores the beast, and the beast is the Antichrist, which I already told you those are two different things. They're connected. The Antichrist comes from the beast because that beast represents an empire. Maybe that's what they're thinking. But there is absolutely no truth. It is pure fantasy, the idea that the Antichrist will be loved by everybody. He'll be a very polarizing, divisive figure. And here we are again. There has never been a more polarizing, divisive figure, probably, at least in American history, probably world, I don't know, than Donald Trump. People are, from day one, have been so fiercely pitted against each other about him because he is the ultimate con man. He's just so deceptive, but he's played to both sides as well. He was able to get a lot of Democrats to vote for him, a lot of independents to vote for him because of basically his flatteries, his lies, his deceit, but he's extremely polarizing. Another thing I hear, and this is the last one for now, is that, well, the Antichrist, he's always going to be a prototype for somebody else. I hear this, for instance, because when you look through things categorically and you realize that Donald Trump matches pretty much every one of these things, you realize that people will say, well, it's too obvious. Or, well, it can't really be him because he doesn't do this or that. Because he's not young and good looking. He's not Jewish or he's not Middle Eastern. He's not brilliant. He's not a moral man. All these preconceived ideas that aren't true. I just talked about them. But they'll say, well, he might have some of those things, but he can't be the Antichrist. He's just paving the way. He's just opening the door. And I found that that's the way people view anything. Like when that event happened in 2020, most people I knew that even thought it was evil, which it was, said, well, it's a dress rehearsal. It's a dress rehearsal for whatever they're gonna do. And I'm like, whatever they're gonna do? Look at what they've done. It's a dress rehearsal for what? The same way with Donald Trump. If Donald Trump is a dress rehearsal for the Antichrist, then you'd be looking for somebody that's just exactly like him. So when you put all these things together, there are a lot of misconceptions about this. I don't want people to be confused. And I'm telling you, if I'm wrong about any of these, then please go look up in scripture and drop it in the comments. If you've got passages that's going to tell me this, I will change my view. But I know they're not in there. I've already looked at it. I'll try to drop comments below that give more life to this. I've written about the features of the Antichrist. I've done recent videos on the Antichrist. So hopefully you guys will look at that. But don't just just be open-minded. Don't be so locked into these preconceived ideas I just talked about that you miss what's going on. So hope you guys found this enjoyable. I'll come at you with another one soon. Until then, God bless.